I don't get a fucking round of applause for doing my job.
What?
It's because you do it badly. Hi guys, welcome back to the Team Rona podcast. This is number 5.
5.
You can do that for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5.
5.
So we so we have more of us. Unfortunately, Jack is a million miles away doing marine stuff, so he's not with us. So right, topics. What we're gonna do? So we're gonna carry on last week's conversation, but with these two. So obviously, we talked about Sbodies versus Bmws.
Yeah.
But we both drive Sbodies. And even though we weren't like, oh yeah, Sbodies are definitely the way forward, it'd be interesting to see what these two think, because they both drive BMWs.
Yeah.
So, recap on what we kind of said.
BMWs are awesome.
It's pretty much what we said.
Yeah.
They're easier to drive, so.
Yeah, easier to drive, definitely.
Talked about different ways they grip. Obviously, when they squat, they don't grip, whereas a Sbody will grip on squat.
Yeah.
So, what's your opinions? You've driven both of our cars.
I know what his opinion is.
Yeah, I know what his
German
opinion's going to be.
I prefer the Beamer chassis, but having driven your SR S14, that was probably one of the most fun I've had in a drift car, I think. Just for the rowdiness of the turbo and the power and stuff.
Was he giving you a hand job at the same time?
Yeah.
I wouldn't get a car.
It'd be the best one I would have driven as well.
I don't know, yeah, the BMW chassis I think is easier to drive. They're cheaper as well to buy.
Bang for buck.
You know, the suspension, especially the rear suspension design is very simple, it's easy to set up. The parts are still readily available.
So what you're saying is the S-Body's overpriced?
No, I wouldn't say, yeah, it is somewhat.
I
I think a BMW, if you're starting out or even if you're pro, it's still a very good chassis to have.
What do you think? Obviously, I ask you this because I know how your mind works, being like fabricator and stuff, and you like to think of everything. So what do you think about like an E92 chassis then, where it's more multi-link in it? Is that right? There's a rear of them,
it's got the multi-link rear,
which is more like an S-Bod set, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. Some of it works slightly different to an S-Body, but I think in the future that we'll see more and more of them. You already started seeing a lot of them. E36s are obviously very, very popular, but it's hard to find a good E36 chassis now that isn't rotten
or beaten.
And the same with the S-Bodies, to find an S-Body that's a good chassis that hasn't been abused, isn't rusty as hell, is a lot of money. And then, and if you start getting into engine swaps, gearbox swaps, all that sort of stuff, do you want to put 10 grand into an S chassis and then another 10 grand in your engine package, when you can go out and spend £1,000 on a Beamer chassis and then put another 10 grand in the engine package, and you have kind of a similar car that obviously lots of suspension stuff's different, works differently, they drive differently, but you can have a similar spec or higher spec car for less money.
I think if you put 10 grand into an engine of a BMW, you'd have better than any S-Body ever produced.
The ease of driving it as well, having driven both of your S-Bodies and driven mine drives, I think, so much easier in comparison.
For sale,
pretty much saying exactly what we said. So we both said, when you get an S-Body right, it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But it's hard to drive.
Yeah.
And we both said,
but rewarding in the same hand.
Yeah. And we both said about the fact of the engines. If you were putting X amount of money into what and stuff, you'd get more bang for your buck, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So if you put the same amount of money what a 2J cost into a BMW engine, you'd have a better engine.
Yeah,
that's a build.
In some regards. Yeah.
It's like
a 2J is still a.
Yeah, it's legendary, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolute.
But what we're saying is, you could buy. Let's say you spent a lot of money and you bought a 3-litre BMW motor and built it. You would still be way cheaper than buying a 2J.
Oh yeah, of course.
And building it.
Miles cheaper.
Yeah, and you would still have that reliable 700 odd horsepower.
And the other thing is now with the later E90 stuff coming in, and even some of the F-Series stuff, as that trickles down, you'll start seeing people with the later N and engines and the turbo engines and stuff. And it'd be good to see people taking the newer turbo BMW engines, putting them in the older chassis, which I think we'll see more, and I think the price will come down as well.
Yeah, still a lot of money at the moment.
And the later stuff's direct injection as well, so you end up with that hassle of injectors and pumps. And you can only run so much power out of it. But there are companies making manifolds and various bits to fit traditional injectors and stuff.
Run more power.
I think you'll start seeing more and more later BMW engines come in now.
Sorry about the compressor, guys, if you can hear it. The guy downstairs is actually working tonight. I do want to drink something though.
I think it's your turn. Have you ever driven that chassis? Cool, perfect.
Yeah,
fire away.
Long time ago, but I drove. It was an NA S14 with LTD. Went up there for a day, helped Andy out, and then at the end of the day, he shut me the keys, and I took Linda Chance, passenger with me, and ended up doing donuts around Andy.
What was it, just a 2 litre or anything? Yeah.
In all honesty, I found, I don't know if it's a setup or the fact that all my cars are just crap, but it was easier to drift. It almost did it all for you. But I work a lot with my cars. I like, with the account steering, I like to have to flick it back. I like to work for it. If my arms aren't hurt by the end of the day drifting, I feel sort of...
See, that's funny though, because that's the complete opposite of what his car is.
Yeah.
His car is, the only tired you get from your car is getting in and out of it. Like when you're actually driving it, it's the opposite.
I didn't find fun in that. Like it was fun driving the S14, but it was too easy. I didn't want it to be too easy. I like to kind of work for it. I know Mark 1 Club's similar. Like,
I think you need to drive mine because I think you could change your mind.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like the setups. At the end of the day, car setups make a big old difference. If you drive an S14 that's really well set up, it'll be really easy. Driving a badly set up, it's really hard. Same with BMW, it's well set up, nice and easy. But if you drove his car, drove my car, you'd have two very different opinions on BMW. Yeah, exactly. You'd have two different opinions on BMWs.
That's a whole different conversation because that's what you're talking about there. Is the whole conversation of power v setup. I would rather have less power.
Driver preference as well.
But I'd rather, exactly.
Yeah.
What you might like is not what I would like, and vice versa. But I'd much rather have a well set up car with less power than a load of power with a badly set up car.
If I was doing comp, I'd want a car that's set up nice and it's quite easy to drift. So I can concentrate more on holding that qualifying line, doing a nice run, wet rails. When I'm having fun, I like to work for it. Especially because up until sort of the end of last year, I was doing Zoyland and I was doing solo runs. And it gets boring when you're doing solo run constantly. So I sort of make the car harder to drive and I find it more fun. It's just, I don't know why I'm like it, it's just, I like to work for it a bit more. If I'm
You
just
also
sat there
wear
going,
odd socks as well.
I was going to say,
He also wears odd socks, which is strange. So I mean,
this is
I am
very
very
silly.
huh?
That's a bit silly.
It's a bit silly.
I know we should do it.
I like my car to drive like shit.
I got it aligned, so then I undid a bolt, kicked it, and did it back up and went for a drive.
I'm the guy that did drift land without nuts on top of my engine mounts.
Yeah, but that wasn't, you did it on purpose. You did that because you're not very good.
No, I always have to have something that's a bit loose. But yeah, I don't know. It's
Gives you my arsehole.
Oh god, I was waiting for someone to say it, and I knew it was going to be you. But yeah, very loose.
Very loose. Yeah.
I'd be interested to do as well and to maybe to try different cars, like just cars, whatever else, just different setups and everything else. It'd be interesting to do.
If you reach my pedals, mate, you're more than welcome to give it a go.
I drove your car the other day. Friday night, I parked it up and I kept stalling the fucking thing.
Yeah, I flooded it so bad.
Yeah, don't worry, once you get going in that thing, just put it in third gear and have a look back.
Yeah,
You're fine everywhere, mate. It's literally super good, super easy.
Yeah, you'll enjoy my car. Right, UK drifting, moving on to the last one again.
Yeah, when you
Obviously,
both missed it.
You've heard our point of view on what we think could potentially make UK drifting better. You got any ideas?
To make it better.
To make
Well,
it,
yeah, so we've basically discussed on the fact that, So Matt Smith put the comment up about UK drifting, and so did Mark Brown. And we talked about the fact that, you know, Mark Brown behind the scenes is setting up like what I'm assuming is setting up like a community of like drifters for everyone to help each other, and like I'm behind it. Like anything that we can do, I'm like, let's do it. You know,
Yeah.
It's creating more positivity towards drifting, isn't it? Instead of the negative and any bad press about it in the UK, it's like let's bring positivity to drifting.
Trying to bring the community together more.
Yeah.
Because at the moment it's very much amateur drifters, comp drifters, demo drifters, whatever else. They're trying to get it all together, and I think it's more working on event organisers working together a bit more.
So have you guys got any views on how you feel UK drifting's been in the last couple of years?
I think it took a little bit of a turn after BDC.
Yeah.
Or,
What do you think?
Or it seemed that from my point of view.
Felt like it went a bit quiet.
BDC was meant to be the epitome. It was where people wanted to go, and you don't really have that now. So I don't know whether some people have lost some drive, whether it's lost some publicity and coverage as well. You know, the British Drift Championship has suddenly gone. And I know, like, obviously Drift League's there, and Drift League's awesome, Gordon's awesome. And obviously Heath with the live stream and stuff, but it's not quite got that, I don't know, stature production that the British Drift Championship would have had.
Yeah.
So it's a shame, you know, it's obviously a shame that that's gone, but I mean,
I think a lot of it comes down to money as well.
yeah.
Like I said, isn't it?
Companies, sponsorship,
It's harder than ever.
It's, yeah.
It's just
And I think
cost of living.
it must be really expensive in the UK to actually, you know, organise and hold events, like whole competitions or whole drift series. You know, I remember talking to Gordon, and just insurance and stuff like that is obscene amounts of money.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether it's easier in some other countries because that cost isn't as much.
It's a bit more relaxed, maybe.
It doesn't seem to be as much sponsorship in the UK either as you see in some other countries.
Almost like it's not taken as seriously in the UK by maybe companies as it is in other countries. Like there's a lot in the States. The States is huge.
Is some of that image,
Yeah.
you know, as
I think the thing that really shows it is if you look at FD, it's sponsored by the Air Force.
Yeah, I mean
that's quite
FD
big.
is. I feel like FD is a whole massive another level.
Yeah.
It's like it's the hugest of money. That I watched a video with one of the guys you probably know. I don't really follow FD very well, and he was like, "What does it cost for a weekend at FD?" And he was going through it, and this was to be competitive, and it was like 35 grand for a weekend.
Oh yeah, one round.
For one round.
Yeah.
I remember watching one of the drivers saying that every time they do one run, so not a battle, just one single run, costs them around $1,500
Oh,
to be able to drive
They use
one
full
run
on like
with tyres and
insane
fuel.
race fuel and
I get that, but Jesus Christ, if they're sponsored by the Air Force, maybe they can spare some fuel.
I mean, if you watch one of their live streams at the beginning of every event, they have people that they basically pledge into the Air Force, and they do their whole like swear allegiance.
Actually. Yeah. Oh, is that where?
Yeah, they swear allegiance to the flag and the rest of it. They do that at a drift event.
What's funny about that is that's the government's money, so that's the taxpayers' money, so it's actually the taxpayer that's paying to sponsor.
But it's not like they're making huge money. Prize money and stuff like that isn't very big at all. A lot of it is just covering costs.
I much prefer Drift Masters as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the highest level in my eyes.
Drift Masters is the dream in it.
It's the highest level, yeah.
If I could go Drift Masters or FD, I don't know, like let's say someone was like, oh, you got a car, we'll give you a car and you can go and do whatever, I'll play Drift Masters.
What I do want to see is Con Shanahan in his GT86 in FD.
Yeah.
Because
That would
to
be
be
quite
able to
interesting.
get into Rome's old car with the V8 in the 36 chassis and do as well as he has done in this year, it would be interesting to see him
But they're just,
in his car.
yeah. They're another level, aren't they? Remember at Buxton?
You do know we're going completely off topic again.
Yeah,
That's what we always do.
Yeah.
Remember when we saw the Shanahan's we went to Buxton, didn't we?
yeah.
We were there with Matt, Martin
Yeah.
and stuff, and it was a very, very, very last ever BDC basically, wasn't it?
It was the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Shanahan's were there, and they were in, one was in a 36, one was in a 46, just like standard cars with welded diff.
They're beaters, yeah.
You watch them drive them, and then you really see, like, it's like everything they do is slowed down, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just insane. Like, they were just
transitions.
It's like this
Yeah.
all the time, and it's like, holy shit, amazing.
It's not that, like, them you can say, it's not your car.
It's not your car, no.
It's them.
They just jump in anything and just do it. It's
Yeah.
like,
There was a third one.
that's the Irish though, isn't it? That's just the Irish all over. They're just insane.
Yeah. Next level motorsport.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else?
Well, how would you like to see UK drifting progress? Like, what would be ideal for you?
I feel it needs a top tier championship.
Do you feel a little bit like? I'm only saying this now because it's been brought up in a few comments on like that I've seen floating around the drift scene of a BDC license meant something because you'd earned that license. It was a
goal for a lot of people.
If you had that, you had that license, like you were a BDC driver, you had your sticker, like you know what I mean. That meant a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, comment I put to Mark Brown's post is I think the biggest thing we're now missing is feeder series. It's because you work your way up to the top level. So we say
like
Drift League is top level. Like you used to have BDC, you used to have Drift Cup. You'd have to win at Drift Cup to go into semi-pro BDC. And you have to win at semi-pro to get into pro BDC, and you have to earn your way up. And I think that's the biggest thing.
It's having that big goal though, and making that push to run to make that.
But then I saw an interesting thing with Gordon, because this has been going around for a while now. Everyone's talking about UK drifting, aren't they, in 2025? And one of the posts that went up, I don't know if it was Gordon who posted it or not, and it was saying like, what would you like to see next year and everything. And everyone's basically, was it Gordon who put a post up? And everyone's basically saying they want BDC. And Gordon said, you're expecting BDC level of stuff with the drivers aren't committing and there isn't nowhere near as many drivers, and you expect us to build up to something. You expect us just to jump to something that, where the hell's the money going to come from? It's not like you just go, cool, let's put a 25 grand live stream down. Let's do, like, it's not going to happen.
The nice thing would be is if Drift League, Gordon or somebody else managed to grow a series into becoming
and let's be honest, Gordon's
the equivalent of BDC.
I'd back Gordon every day. Like, guys, just
Gordon's ex-comp driver. He knows what it is to be a comp driver, so he can build his series around knowing what it's like to be there.
You couldn't take a load of money and just start the British Drift Championship again tomorrow and have it work. It would take numerous years for it to get back to.
Like you say about a feeder series and all that into it, there isn't enough drivers. There isn't. You can't split whoever's doing Drift League. You can't split them into two series. No. You can't. There isn't enough drivers. There isn't enough people, and that's down to cost.
Money. Do you think because you used to be a lot? Used to be fill grids everywhere. Like, it was hard to even get like Drift Cup. It was hard to get a ticket for Drift Cup.
Everyone at Drift Cup was on road tyres. None of this semi-slick stuff.
So were you at Drift League?
Sorry.
So were you at Drift League in
class 2? Yeah, agreed. But how many people were at last round of class 2? 14, 15, I think.
Well, round 1 this year, I went up to Pembrey. I was talking to Gordon, and he said last year, for the full season of Drift League, he had something like 40 odd drivers that paid for the full season. At round 1, but in round 1, he had 8 drivers. That just shows how much drivers just aren't committing to it.
Well, it's not about committing.
It's the cost of living.
Yeah, you got to understand.
It's savage now.
That's not people going, oh, I'm bored, I don't want to finish the season. That's gonna who's going to pay for a season ticket and just not turn up? It's going to be the case of shit. I actually can't afford 20 tyres for this round, or and especially if you're in the class 1, as we call it. I think you have to have semi-slicks, don't you? Do you have to have
that's the difference between class 1 and class 2.
Yeah, I don't think basically.
I'm not sure. I don't think you have to. I just think you're allowed.
You've got the option of using. I'm pretty sure class 1 you've got the option of either.
Yeah.
Right. So you can just pick where you want to go, really. So technically, you could just I could turn up and go, I'm going to put semi-slick on and go class 1.
No.
No,
you have to be chosen to go into class
Yeah.
one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't choose which class you go into.
And you
so
got-
if you go up there, he will put you in class 2.
Yeah.
You will be
that's
put in class 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're in class one. What?
If you put me in class, I'm not going home.
If you do really good next season, he might turn around to you and say, do you fancy being in class 1? You go, no, I want to stay in class 2.
Yeah.
If you're absolutely fucking rinsing it, winning every single one, he's like, you go class 1 now.
But
Yeah.
I did see an interesting thing again, looking at everything, and people were saying that they reckon half the thing of people not going is because of the layout of Drift League, because it's not like it used to be where Saturday is class 2,
I saw
Sunday's
that
class
as
1,
well.
Yeah, that's right.
and I thought like, what? Sure, I would want all the seat time in the world, but then people saying about it's more money overnight, it's more fuel, it's more tyres. It's kind of like maybe like it's putting people off a little
It's yeah. So
But
I
you don't have
saw.
to do the practice. This is the thing.
But
Like,
you would
half
though,
day,
wouldn't
both
you?
days is practice. Both classes practice. Both days, all morning. You
Marcus
don't have to do that.
Marcus Clare pointed out a fact on it, and I didn't actually think of it like this. I thought, yeah, fuck me, you're not going home after one day. It's brilliant. I love the idea of that. But Marcus Clare pointed out the fact that you need Friday off. You also need Monday off. So you're taking 2 or 1 extra day off just to do 2 days when you could just have the Friday off if you were doing class 2,
Yeah.
or just the Monday off if you were doing the other class. I do think that may potentially bring more people into it if they just done the 2 days.
Or even just like you could, I suppose, because even like if I went, or next year, if it's the same, if I'm there, I'm staying for the pros no matter what.
Yeah, we can stay and watch, but that's
So
an
I suppose
option.
you could be loaded on Saturday.
Yeah.
You watch and then go right. It's finished. It's 5 o'clock. Wait.
Yeah.
You're not taking any gazebo down. You're not loading anything up. You're not driving home at 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So you could just leave at 5 and well, depending we're at the ass end of the country.
Yeah.
But
Could be worse, could be Cornwall. I always look at it like that. I know we're dead south, but imagine being at like Land's End.
oh yeah, getting
That's-
back to
that's an
Denver
extra
after
3
another
hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
That'd be bad, wouldn't it? Yeah. So do you think that? So what do you think? Maybe other countries are doing that. We're not. That could maybe like.
I don't necessarily think we're doing anything wrong. I think the cost of living in the UK is expensive. Even just going into a supermarket and doing your weekly shop, you know, it's nearly doubled. I just think it's difficult for people to, you know, mortgage rates have gone up and various other bits. It's difficult for people, and like you were saying about like to commit to a whole season of drifting and going, right, I need to outlay this much money, and then each round I need to outlay this much money, and then I need these many tyres for each round and stuff, to commit to such an expense at the start of the year. It's hard.
I think the base level was also raised quite a lot, because if you go back, say, 5-10 years, look at Mark Looney, the Supra. He was the first person to have 1,000 horsepower in a BDC, and that was like, whoa, mind blowing. You know, if you had 500 horsepower, that was mind blowing. Now, if you've got 500 horsepower, you're barely competitive. You've got to have that much more power, so you put more money into your car, and it's just the bench level just raised so much more nowadays because it's easier to sort of achieve it. It's like me, I'm not gonna have that much power in my car. I've got barely working 3 litre. I would never be competitive in Drift League in Class 2.
I think the evolution of social media as well, and the other bigger series, like I don't know whether some people think, oh, I can't be bothered to go to a local event watching 200-300 horsepower cars when I can sit at the comfort of my own home watching 1,000 horsepower cars
Yeah.
on the TV.
The fireworks.
That look cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said this last time, didn't I? I said we're guilty to it as well. No one goes to events. We just sit and watch it on the telly in the comfort of your own home.
Whereas you look at other countries and they are.
The stands full.
Yeah.
Like stands are absolutely full.
Yeah, that's
aren't
the
they?
balance you need. You want drivers to enter competitions, but you need to draw the crowds in as well, because at the end of the day, the crowds do bring a lot of the money into these events.
And then it could potentially bring the cost for the drivers down, which means more drivers.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said last time. But we've got no stadiums here.
That's another thing. A lot of our tracks are either not very spectator friendly, or they're very, very expensive, or
Where we're
completely.
allowed.
And you look at
Completely
Poland,
elusive, we
they
can't
build a
even get
stadium track overnight, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just
I
like,
mean, that's it. Again, I feel like Drift Masters and stuff is a huge number,
Yeah.
massive leap. But yeah, like I mean, look back at the last 5 years. Well, I'd say the last 6 years of BDC Drift League. When has there been like a new track added? It doesn't happen. There isn't anywhere else.
No.
Like, you know, it's like you look around and you find little gems and you think, oh, I wonder. No chance. You can't get near it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just
The cost is up there as well. I was talking to Gordon about this. Again, track hire and that, right? Driftland. The weekend hire for the takeover, it's a little shy of like £8,000. It's just manageable. Once you got the drivers in that, it's not that bad. T-side, 18.
yeah,
18 grand, that's just the track hire. You didn't have to get your own insurance with Driftland cover themselves. You have to get your own marshals, your medics, all that lot. Again, Driftland sort that out. So really, Driftland's the only affordable track hire you can get. 'Cause everywhere else, it's insane money. So obviously I wanted to do the takeover at different tracks. Not happening. Staying at Driftland.
Yeah. Yeah, I just mean about like new tracks and like, I mean, did you see the latest round of the French Drift Championship where they're drifting through the mountains? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's amazing!
Just shot off a road,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's insane, mate. Check it out. It is nuts. I was just like, there's no way that's happening. Just a sheer cliff one side, a little barrier.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking nuts. Like, well, good. Yeah. You were saying about like, you know, the festivals and stuff that they do in the States as well.
Yeah, so that comes back to like the comp versus no comp sort of.
Well, our next
stuff.
topic.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go into that? Or?
Yeah, let's move on. Happy with UK drifting? As in, like, we talked about it?
Well, yeah, I don't know what else more to say about it. It's very expensive and.
It is, yeah.
There's a lot of opinions in it, but it all falls back to money.
Yeah.
Basically,
it's not drifting's fault. It's expensive. It's,
No.
It's just the cost of everything in life.
It's not like anyone's unreasonable, is it? Like
No.
in regards to what it costs to enter a competition, and that, I think that's actual reasonable.
I don't
price.
look at ticket prices and go, oh my god, that's way too much.
No,
I think they're all fair.
You look at it and go, I can't actually afford that.
Let's be
It's
honest.
a struggle with.
Yeah.
Drifting's probably the cheapest motorsport
Yeah.
as well. Like, realistically, imagine if you were going to go and race, let's say you were, well, I knew someone who used to race up hill climbing, and they would pay like 80 quid to do 3 runs for a day. That's awful. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's bad money for your motorsport, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know, and you still got to have somewhere to keep that car, build a car to do it and stuff. You know, it's cheap. Imagine if you were trying to race like GT cars or something.
Yeah.
You can't really say it's one of the cheap. Like, yeah, if you're racing a GT car, 100%, you can't even.
Well, what
compare to
motorsport
that.
would you say is more of an affordable of a competition kind of setup?
Motocross.
See, even that, like,
You
so
buy a bike, that's it.
It's definitely not.
It's
It's definitely not. That's someone who's never done motocross. That is.
It's 10 or 12 grand into a bike.
Oh,
And
it's.
then it's everything else.
Yeah, you think you're rebuilding it all the time, all the servicing on it, tyres, entering rounds, then you're buying a van to drive it around somewhere because you can't just like leave it,
Is
obviously.
it costing you £1,000 every time you go out?
No, it's not. I wouldn't have said, but then it depends. It may be if you smash it up.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah,
if
do
you
you know what
smash
I
it
mean?
up.
But also as well, I would say with motocross, it comes down to a
records.
hell of a lot. It's a hell of a lot more of like a learning time, like to get into it. You couldn't just kind of do a year of motocross and go and race and like be anywhere near even. They'd probably tell you to get off the track.
I mean, to be fair, I've never been to spectate it, but to me, banger racing.
That's
Because
still hellish money.
That's
you
fucking
buy a
stupid.
shell,
Yeah, that's
that's what I'm
especially
saying,
if
it's a
you
lot
want
of money because you have to buy a new car every time. You have to strip it, you have to put caging, you have to do all the safety stuff for it. You have to do this like, every single round. You smash your car up. I'm just like mind blown on this.
Yeah, I think it's just money in the UK. It's just.
It is money.
If you want to drift for fun, I think you can do it fairly cheap.
Yeah.
If you get a good basic car that's reliable.
This is the next topic then, yeah. So.
and well, yeah.
So the
What's
next
the
topic we're going to talk
comp-
about is basically the difference between, like having fun with your mates, isn't it? Like what you really need to do and how much it kind of costs, compared to if you wanted to step up to the more competition side of things. So.
Next. That's silence.
It's all expensive. No, but I mean realistically.
You can go drifting and have fun with your mates for a couple £100 on a weekend. You can go do, a drift day or whatever at a local track, and you know, you can have a basic car that's, as long as it's reliable, it doesn't have to have loads of power.
No.
And you can turn some laps with some friends and have a laugh. But
Some of the best times I've had in drifting is just
Having
piss
a
about.
laugh,
One of the best days I had, I think it was last year when we smashed our cars up at Zordan. End of season smash up.
It was a little bit.
They were perfect before that day.
Well, mine wasn't. They'd been in a wall at coup, and that's why yours got it, because mine didn't look perfect anymore.
My car looked perfect.
Yeah.
You took my bumper off, I took yours off.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, fucking dents up doors, that was not fun. That was fucking loads of fun actually.
Yeah, it was good fun.
When you're talking money wise, right, say buy yourself a cheap E46, 325, weld a diff on it, go to Zoyland, it's like 65 quid. Realistically, like part one tyres, or if you go to a dealership that sells only new tyres, you could probably get free part one tyres, or scrappy, you can get them really cheap or whatever else. You can have a lot of fun in a pretty standard car with your mates, quite cheap. And then say look at your cars and how much you put into your cars to be able to do drift league. It can cost more than a whole year of a cheap fucking car. to
Yeah.
have fun with your mates.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I would agree.
we didn't build our cars to same as horsepower in it and tyres we go through and stuff like that. We didn't build them for let's make them economical and fun. We built them with the progression of, for a
Next
start,
step,
you
innit?
need
Next step.
those cars to do passenger rides for a start, cages, blah blah blah, and then the next step we want to do comp next year. We want to do drift league, and that's why we built them. So it might make the cost go up when you want to have a piss about, but you can still have that piss about. Unfortunately, like, I go through tyres like fuck now, and I say that's not even half as bad as some of these 700 horsepower cars on
Yeah.
76.
I think how much the price of a semi-slick is, and just to get it in like.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm not even close to that sort of power, and I'm already moaning about how many tyres I'm going through.
It is. Well, then again, it's all relative, because he probably kills more tyres than I do with less power.
Yeah, but he's shredder. That's his
half
business.
as much power, as much power.
What I've got 207. So what does that give you?
I've got about 90 something.
Yeah.
103 and a half.
Well, you'll have nothing soon. It only have a push bike. How many pedals can you do? Do a pedal skid. Yeah.
And I think the whole amateur versus comp thing, it's personal preference.
It depends. See, I'm worried. I genuinely got I'm really, really keen on doing drift league.
Mhm.
That's what I want to do. I want to push myself a little bit more, go to these bigger tracks, see what I can do. On the other hand of it, I'm worried that it's going to ruin the fun to a certain degree, and that's a personal thing for me, because I'm fine when I'm with my mates and having a laugh, and even if it's in front of people, I don't care. As soon as you put me under pressure of it's a competition, you have to be good. I stiffen up.
Oh yeah,
I concentrate
you don't
too much.
have to be good.
Oh,
but
the
you-
car's
you-
shit.
You put the pressure on yourself, don't you?
Alignments.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
And
but
you feel
it's not
that
something
you
I can
need
help
to
help
perform.
though. But then I need to get over that. So I'm desperate to do it. I want to do it. You know.
I think in your case, what you need to do is just not concentrate on competition. You go and do a competition
And have
do like
fun.
a Zoyland day.
Yeah.
Just in between, just to have a laugh and remember what
I think
drift
I
is
will.
about.
Like I think I will. But
The only thing I think, the amateur fee comp stuff, I think there is an in between. And having drifted for 7 years or whatever, occasionally I'd go on a normal drift day and I'm a bit bored. I find it a bit boring. Like I love to go into Driftland, I love to go into Pembrey, like going on a bigger track and driving for a whole weekend, absolutely brilliant. And I think somewhere like Autofest, where I know it's amateur drivers and stuff and nothing big powered, but a weekend of drifting with friends and and music and food and stuff like that, like that's where what I'd want to see more.
Cocaine and hookers.
so more.
But
Yeah.
just I follow a lot of the stuff that goes on in the States, and they have like the LS Fest, and they've got the Drift Appalachia, which is like a tow drifting down mountain roads
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff
insane.
like that.
I think what
And-
you're saying about there,
and
it's
whole
not so
weekend
much.
events, where you can go and drive on some bigger tracks, like drive with people with more power, less power, like and the whole experience of not just the drifting, but like the music, the food, like hanging out with friends and stuff.
So I think there you're more. It's not so much about the drifting; it's the social aspect of it.
That's
everything
fine.
else
Yeah,
apart
yeah.
from
But I love the driving.
Yes.
And
It's part and parcel with it. It has to be that.
but having done some very amateur comp stuff, I find it stressful, and
Yeah.
just
Think too much.
don't. Yeah, I don't mind competing against somebody, like battling somebody, but I don't necessarily get as much enjoyment out of it.
As you do just going out with no pressure.
Yeah, and having fun with friends.
So that's why I want to do a comp. I've never done any form of comp, and I want to try it. I'm not don't really want to jump into Drift League because I know I've got no at all. But then obviously with they used to do the Autofest comp, which is now gone. I wanted to do that this year, just a trial of that competition pressure and sort of what it's like to be that side of it. So I've done spotting and everything else for it, but I've never driven a comp, and I just wanted to try it. I don't really want to spend out all that money to go and do Drift League to not even qualify, so I won't get
Yeah, it's disheartening, isn't it?
feel what it's like.
Yeah, which is always a real risk, isn't it?
Mm.
But it's funny, I've just thought about it, just as you were talking about that. Obviously you get Drift Missouri, which
Yeah.
is Anglesey, right? Do they have music and everything there?
They have a party in the pits at night.
So why do people go so mental and spend so much money to go Drift Missouri, but then they won't sign up for stuff like Drift League?
Because Anglesey is a hell of a track. Going out with Laurie on Anglesey is unreal.
Fair enough, but what's that offering
I think it's more
that
the
other
hype.
things aren't?
I think because
It's
majority of them are
£7.50 to change a tyre
It's-
per tyre,
it's-
as long as it's only
Do
a
you
good
know
wheel.
what it's for? It's for that sun strip.
That once you buy, you never take off. BDC. I'm not putting a BDC Sunstrip over that. I've got my Drift Zero one.
And Drift Missouri is it's a weird one. So I went last year as a spectator. And I went out with Laurie and Henry and Aidan, quite a few guys in that. And went out with Alfie and he spun. Just to put that in there. But honestly, it's there's a lot of annoying stuff about it. You can't film in the car at all. You can't hold your phone. You can't have a GoPro. You cannot film in the car at all.
No
swivel
handheld
mount.
recording devices
Weird,
allowed at all.
Yeah, no handheld, so you can't hold it in your hand. But surely you can mount it somewhere.
No, not you do GoPro.
If it's any way your head could hit, no.
Yeah,
Basically,
you put it like
So
you
you put it on
can
the road,
record.
just
So you
back
put
it.
yeah, put it back.
it's got it saved. But I put that swivel mount I got, which is purpose built drift swivel mount, put on top of the car. It's really hard to film in the car there.
You know why? It's because it turns into a projectile when you crash. That's why you're not allowed handheld ones at Castle Coop. You're not allowed passengers with them in their hands and stuff like that.
But the track itself was mental. Going out with Laurie in a pretty standard 323, chasing down people like
Laurie's a
Hayden
hell of a
Bushrank
driver,
and
isn't
stuff.
it?
And you've got a 1,000 horsepower chaser. So you've got your start line. Hayden's there. Laurie started about 10 car lengths back. The marshal looked at him. He's like, "You doing?" And Laurie's like. So he sent him. So Laurie had to fuck off, run up to try and keep up with Hayden into the first corner, massive flick, and then Hayden just turns the smoke on and just disappear. And Laurie's just there like, fuck it, he's on the clutch constantly. It's like third gear, fucking going mental, and it was being a passenger there was insane. I can imagine it, driving it must be incredible.
I wonder if that goes back to a little bit of what you were saying about you go to these kind of festival things and you don't know who you're going to end up driving with.
Yeah.
So you could end up with a 1,000 horsepower kind of legend. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's it's just interesting. Not really actually thought about it.
It'd be cool to have some more of that in the UK.
Maybe we should set one up.
For the takeover, I am trying.
Nah.
I am trying to get it so we can. I want to build that bridge between the amateur and the comp. Because at the moment it's like, if someone were to go on track, say Martin Monaco, they'd be like, oh, I can't drive him. He's too fast, too smoky, whatever.
No, I'm going to try and stick.
Don't join lane 3 then.
Simple as that. Yeah, that's
So,
it.
I
I've got 1.6 OX5, I'm having it.
I want to bring that option in, which you get at Matsuri. You get that option to do it at Matsuri. You go up to the line, if you got Martin Monaco next to you, like, no, I don't want to drive him. So they send him off, it's fine. Or if you're like, yeah, fuck it. If you're Laurie, let's go. I want a door, And I kind of want to try and bring that, but yeah.
The problem is being I know some people that think they're heroes and they're not. Do I really want someone like that trying to chase me down.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing it from like, I'm saying it from like a Marley and Matt Smith, 50 grand a piece.
Yeah.
At least cars.
Yeah, at least.
Do you really want someone who's going to drive straight at you because they can't keep up with your pace and then flick it because
Hopefully
they
hold
want
it on the house.
hopefully hold it rather than cave the side of your car in.
Okay, that's a risk, isn't it?
It's a risk, but you should also get that option
Yeah.
of lanes.
Yeah.
Simple as that. If you're like, nothing against people who are learning, because we've all been there, but just don't try and jump on someone's door. You know, when you're trying to learn.
Yeah.
If you're fucking 100% confident and.
I find with drifting though, let's be honest, I would say there's way more people that are more nervous who are capable than there are people who aren't capable who are full of themselves.
Yeah.
You get the odd few, don't get me wrong, but I'd say 90% of the time it's like, mate, you could do this, and they're like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? And it's that. But yeah, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, you do get the odd few who are literally just going to drive dead straight at you and then pull the hydro last minute and then just put a massive dent in your door and go, mate, I doored you.
Yeah.
No, you crashed into me.
Yeah.
You
Big
didn't
difference
door nothing.
between
No.
You
dooring
literally hit
someone,
me. Like,
crashing.
you know.
I honestly couldn't give a fuck about tire marks up my door.
Tire marks
if it's
are
deserved.
awesome.
If it's deserved.
Crashing and dents and hitting people and stuff, like
I
it's.
think I know who you're talking about.
What are you on about? I don't know what you're on about. You don't know nothing. Anyway, so obviously we've already done a couple of unpopular opinions, and
We've done ours.
so far. I mean, I think I've got a few more in the bank, but I'm not going to bring them out today.
Can we
So
ask-
far, no one's agreed with me on the S15, so I'm completely alone in my own little corner.
Can we get their opinions on our popular?
Go on then,
opinion
right?
first?
Let's go. So obviously, my unpopular opinion is I really don't like the look of the front of an S15. I love the back, love it from the side. The front of it is really boring, and it looks like they made a cool, sharp Japanese car, and they just kind of like pulled it back, like when you get a dog and you pull its wrinkly face back.
Fair. Also kind of looks like a Peugeot.
It does also look like a Peugeot. I mean, to be fair, Tony Collins.
I actually like the look of a 406 coupe, to be honest.
I'm a Barrett for it. It's good. It's fair. Tony Collins, right? Like, shout out Tony for watching all our podcasts and stuff. He actually sent me a load of pictures of S15s because I said, send me some pictures.
I think you
And
should,
oh my god, they couldn't have been more ugly. Like, he sent me the worst ones I've ever fucking seen in my life. I was like, Tony, mate, like, you've made my mind up more. I hate them more after the pictures you sent.
See, like, it depends how they're done up, because like the old JDM garage S15 where he had the twin screw supercharger sticking out the bonnet.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big kit. It was quite subtle kit. Now it's just more about the supercharger. I really liked it. I thought I looked amazing.
Would have been better if it was
Big
a
kit
14.
cars, I'm not a fan of. Like, I've never been a fan of massive kits and big spoilers, and it's just
Where
yeah.
I don't mind an S15.
yeah.
I think standard, I don't really think that much
I'm
of
just
it.
talking about the front.
The front.
Yeah, only the front.
Yeah.
The side of an S15 is lovely. The rear of an S15 is great. I
Oh,
love
yeah,
the
I mean,
boot. I love the
I-
lights. Love it.
I like a 15.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
do.
Well, yeah, but what do you know? Right, so Paul's one then doesn't like a Mark IV Supra. We all agree 2J is one of the best engines ever.
Definitely.
But the car itself couldn't give less of a shit about. And to be fair, like I said to you, I can't really disagree with you. And what's your opinion on it?
I don't think they're the best looking, and I think the bonnet just looks too long for the body, and it ruins the look of it.
So you agree with Paul?
I'm not a big fan.
Do you think that they're overpriced for what they are?
Yes.
Overrated?
It's painful name.
Is that a Supra?
You
Big money.
You can't really say overrated because they're not really rated. What are they rated to? No one drifts them. No one races them.
It's
But the
Yeah.
engine's
It's
rated.
too expensive.
Yeah, but they're not used for anything rather than I drive a Supra.
I don't think it's an unpopular opinion. I think it's a popular opinion.
I
The
think
amount of people who have messaged me going, couldn't 100% disagree with you on the S15, but Paul's bang on.
yeah.
Not one person's gone, actually Paul's wrong. Not one person. No one. Does anyone like Supras?
They must do because they're worth so much money. That's
Yeah,
the
but-
reason why they're worth so much money.
Someone must like
I
them.
think it can look good, you know, and they
you
have
trying to
that whole,
justify it
they
now?
have that whole iconic thing. But I completely agree. I think overrated, overpriced.
Yeah. Right. You got an unpopular opinion about drifting? Or it doesn't have to be drifting,
Doesn't have
just
to be anything.
car, what, anything.
The 8086 is just, why is it so fucking popular? Like, just because of Initial D? I think they look like shit.
No, it's
Not gonna lie.
because it's an old school rear-wheel drive hatchback. That's why it's so popular.
But I think it was like the whole original.
It
kind
was
of
the
thing,
Initial
innit?
D thing. Because
Okay.
look at everyone does out the black two-tone fucking
Yeah, but-
stupid Japanese writing.
But find another old school rear-wheel drive hatchback, and that's 13.
That's 12.
That's 12.
Again, I like my touring stage, don't I? I like my big cars, my chasers, my tourings and stuff. So having this stupid little hatchback thing that just
I do think they're underpowered, but then I think I've never driven one, so I can't really comment on it like that.
So I know right
But
now
I
the Irish want to
reckon-
murder me because Irish fucking love them. And they're
See,
gonna hound me.
I've
but-
seen videos of the Irish hammering around in them fucking cars in the
Still
lanes, drifting them,
twins.
and it looks like the most amount of fucking fun
Yeah.
in the world. I have to ask Matt Smith about that because he used to have one. He used to have an 86.
I like them.
Yeah.
I'm a proper fan of me.
I do like 'em.
Apparently they're shit to drift. You got to put a lot of money into them, just from what I've heard.
What's
I
the
know
trap
it.
say? I mean, they literally go in full ham at a corner to a massive flick to get it to go.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what
you've got to have big balls
Maybe that's
to
the fun of it.
drift one.
Maybe that's the fun.
Yeah, that's the engine in them as well.
But yeah, I'm not a fan. I don't think, like, I like square cars and that, but it's just, I'm not a fan at all. No, I know I'm gonna get hung, especially like Aaron if he watches this.
Yeah,
he's
the
gonna
Irish are
kill
going to
me.
kill you, mate, definitely.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, you don't know what you're waffling about, Skippy. I love a fucking 86.
See, unpopular opinion. You all disagree with me.
My unpopular opinion, don't know.
Oh, well, awesome. Right, we'll just end it there.
I like some of the S chassis, but I think they're massively overrated.
This is not an
Massively
unpopular opinion, that's just a fact.
That's-
That's just a fact, mate. Nah, come on, you got to do better than that.
Oh, well, I don't
What's
know.
something that you're worried about saying to YouTube? Because people will judge you. That's an unpopular
Yeah.
opinion. Not just saying that Sbodies are overpriced. Everyone knows they're overpriced.
Oh, I don't know, really. Fuck knows.
I've got another one. My car looks good.
That's not an unpopular opinion.
You're just wrong
Yeah,
there.
that's just a wrong opinion. You've let me down there, Finn. I want an unpopular opinion.
I should have thought about this beforehand, really.
You
shouldn't
should
I?
have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, when you come back on in 6 weeks'
Unpopular
time.
opinion, right?
Oh.
An E46 saloon is a better car than a coupe.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's a waste
No,
of
just
time.
because I'm here agreeing with
Yeah.
you doesn't mean
What?
it's not unpopular.
When you
Because-
say it's better, elaborate. Do you mean everything about it, the way it looks, the way it handles, the way it drives?
Not necessarily the looks, because certain coupes I think do look really nice. Depends how they've been modified.
Yeah, like when you look
But
at
as a basic car with the right wheels on it, I think Saloon looks better. It's easier to use. It's better as a drift car for loading and unloading.
Isn't it lighter as well?
I don't think it's any lighter. It's stronger though. The shell's stronger.
That's it, sorry, it's stronger.
There's more rigidity in it.
Yeah.
it's not really an unpopular opinion. That's more of a clever person opinion, isn't it?
It's
Because you
still
know
not
the
popular one
difference.
because if someone's going to choose a BMW 46, they're going to choose a coupe over.
If somebody gave me a
It's
coupe
so hard to say.
and a Saloon
Yeah.
now and said you've got to choose between one
I
and
think
the
the
other.
big thing is though, like
Okay.
people that don't really know, they look at a saloon, they look at a coupe, and they go, coupe's got a short wheelbase, it'd be easy to drift. But it doesn't. They're the
They're
same.
not the same wheel. They're the same wheelbase, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
What, 36 and 46?
No,
Saloon
coupe.
coupe, yes, saloon
Yeah,
Yeah, the 46, the compact saloon coupe and touring all have the same.
But it's funny because I'm not just saying this to be mean, but I look at your car and I look at Shipley's car, and I think your car way better looking. I just think it's a nicer car.
Yeah, and it's not even like there's body kits on them or anything,
No,
is there?
no,
What
standard.
is that?
But is it Connor with the red one? He's got a red one and a black one. And the
Quite
black one's got
Devonport.
Yeah, Devonport. Yeah.
It's-
Connor's two 46 coupes
They do look
are
nice.
gorgeous. Laurie's coupe,
Yeah.
gorgeous. Like I think they're better looking than yours. But when I look at like a standard
Kits-
one,
kits and
yours
wheels.
is better looking.
Kits and wheels.
Yeah, yeah, lows, wheels, and kits in it. Yeah, yeah, I suppose it
Standard
is.
cars touring for life.
Yeah, if you want to take your dog for a walk.
And I
Or move
personally,
house.
I personally think that an E36 is a better car than an E46 is a better car than an E36.
Get out.
That might be an unpopular one.
That is very
There you go. You might have caused it there.
That is only because you could only afford an E46. You can't afford an E36 to even try one out.
Why would I want a rusty old wobbly?
Oh,
piece
because
of crap
46s
motor?
aren't rusty old and wobbly, are they?
No, they're better. The shells are stronger. They're more rigid. They're less rusty.
I mean, in terms of drifting, I've drifted Right, so you're going
Okay.
tourings.
Okay. Back to that then.
E30, E36 and E46. E30 was the easiest and best to drift.
E30.
See, I hear the
Touring.
complete opposite.
I've heard the opposite.
I've heard they're really hard to drive.
I love my
But you just said that an S-Body's easy to drive, so maybe you don't know anything.
You're broken.
You
Well, right, out of the BMWs, the E30 was the easier one.
That's probably.
if anyone who's driven a
If you
30...
look at an E30 touring,
Are
same
you
wheelbase
comparing
as an
standard
E36.
cars though, or are they all modified in some way?
They were modified by me.
Yeah, so I suppose again it's dependent on how you want them, innit?
Parts
Yeah.
and whatever else.
And depending on what you class, because the thing is, if you would drive, let's say you drove an E30 12 years ago, and you drifted it, it's very different to what's classed as drifting 12 years ago as what's drifting today. Do you know what I mean? Like the lock kits, the angles, the speed, the way you drive, everything's moved massively. It's hellish different from 10 years ago, isn't it? You can link a roundabout and do a figure of 8, you were a drifter. Whereas nowadays,
You're a
not.
street.
Yeah, like you're a knock. So it's one of them, isn't it? I think we'll end it there. I think that was a long podcast. Anyone who's made it to the end of this, Fit will give you a tenner. So
I want opinions.
Can I borrow a pin?
36 or
Borrow an
46. 36 or 46. I need some backup here because I
46,
believe he's talking absolute
definitely.
shit. The only reason why he's going 46 is that's all he can fucking afford.
I think a 36 looks better.
It does 100% look better and it drives
A
better.
36 coupe, like
Yeah.
an M3 or like a nice, tastefully modified one.
Why? Because they're not rusty at all,
Does-
shit or wobbly
They
or whatever
look-
it is you said.
They can look brilliant. I still think the 46 is a better car though.
What do you think? I'm not getting involved.
Shut up, Paul. What do you know?
Right. Thank you all for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye. See you next time.